Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video we are going to learn how to play Hover, which was kindly given by EBST Games as a review copy. In this way I can teach you how to play it. Here you have the game set up for a 3 to 4 player game. You have the central board over here. You could recognize that the board is for the 3 to 4 player game because you have the feeder drawn in the center. If you look at the back of this board, you're gonna have blue area over here that is representing the feeder, and for the 2-player only game, you also will place the garden flower with the 6 energy cube in the center. But let's take a look and play the 3 to 4 player game version. When you do that, you take the garden flower, you place it on the garden, you do like this, then you shuffle the field cards and you put the resources close by to the board so every player can reach them. You have energy cubes, you have spider silk, that these are like straight lines, and then you have twigs that these are indicated like this. This is a prototype, so the colors of the component may change it to in the final product. And finally, you have the lichen tokens that are like this. Then, after you set up the nest, you can place the beauty marker at the 0. Each player receives one bird card. They have a special ability, and I'll let you explore it by yourself. Then each player receives one field card and one energy cube. Energy cubes are essentially the currency of this game. And then you're ready to begin. The game is played in turns. Each player will take their own turn. In their turn, they will perform at least 2 actions. You must perform 1 action, and you can perform the same action twice. What are the actions? The first action you can do is move. And to move, you need to move to an adjacent location. What is the adjacency? Well, starting from your nest is adjacent to any outer area of the board. So from your nest, you can get to the forest, or from your nest, you can get to this field, or from your nest, you can get to this forest over here. From your nest, you cannot get to the groove in the center because you're passing the outer area over here. Similarly, if you are in the outer layer, you can go back to your nest. And also, if you are in the outer layer and an opponent nest is not occupied, you can also go and visit the opponent nest. The only exception to this rule, if that opponent nest is occupied by the opponent pawn, you cannot go to the nest. So this action is not allowed. However, if you have an opponent on your own nest, you can return to your own nest. Overall, it's your home base, so you can go there. Now let's take a look at the action you can perform at each location. If you arrive to the forest, you can spend an energy cube to get a spider silk, and if you do that, you will put on your beak. Or you can spend 2 energy cubes to get a twig, and the twig can be allocated on top of your beak. If you go into the field, you can gain 1 energy cube from the supply and you put on your stack, or you can spend 1 energy cube to take a field card. Where are these field cards? Well, as you see, field cards give you extra things to do. In this case, give you 1 extra action on your turn. When you see the word on your turn, that card can be played on your turn. Other card can be played anytime throughout the game, and I'll let you explore it by yourself. Then the groove is the only area that you cannot perform any action. Then if you go to the flower garden, you go and visit 1 flower, you get 2 energy cubes. But when you do that, you're exhausting the flower, you're getting the nectar, the energy from it, and so you flip it down and you get 2 cubes. If another player comes or you perform the same action again, you will flip the other flower. This flower cannot be regenerated until at the end of a turn, that area is not occupied by any pawn. At that point, both flowers will be regenerated. And finally, at the center of the feeder, you can perform an action and get 3 energy cubes. When you fly back on your nest, you can perform other action. If you have collected any spider silk or twig, you can take them and allocate them on your nest. You are trying to build your nest. Another action you can do, you can spend 1 energy cube to gather 1 lichen and place it on your nest. Lichen will essentially protect you from opponents, so we're going to see how they work. Another action finally could be increase your beauty level by 1. If instead you are in an opponent nest, you can spend one action to remove a lichen token. The lichen token essentially protects your nest. And if there are no lichen tokens, so you can spend another action to steal one component of the nest. It could be a twig, or it could be a spider silk. And then obviously from there, you can move back to the board. You can steal pieces from your opponents. On your nest, you can put lichen tokens as many as you wanted. However, if a later turn you have another pieces, a component of the nest that you want to add it, you can do so, but you will remove all the lichen tokens. And then there is combat. When you arrive in an area where there is another player token, you cannot perform the action of that section. What you can do is combat. The way combat works, each player will take their energy cube and they decide how much they want to spend for that combat, will simultaneously put in their hands and simultaneously reveal them. To those energy cubes, they will add the value of the beauty, and then who has the most will win the combat. So in this case, they both play 2 energy cubes, but the blue player has 2 beauty, while the pink player has 1 beauty. So the blue player will win the combat. When you win the combat, all the energy cubes will discarded are consumed no matter what's the result. If you are the attacker and you win the combat, you will move the opponent pawn in any adjacent area that you wish. After that, you will draw 1 field card and you get 1 extra action. And so finally, you can perform 1 action of the section you're in. If the defeated defender had 1 token, it could be a spider, silk, or a twig, you will win that token and then you will move your opponent in an adjacent area. If you as attacker, you lose the combat and you have 1 token on your beak on your pawn, well, you will lose that token. You will be moved to an adjacent area. The defender will get a field card and the turn will end over there. Finally, you don't take any item if you have already 2 those items on your nest. Some additional rules to combat. If an opponent is at your nest, they cannot attack you on your nest. That's really rude, but you can attack them. If 2 players are in another player, so in another player nest, they can attack each other. So in this case, the nest is from the blue player and the orange and the pink player, they can attack each other. In case of a tie, all the energy cubes are discarded and nothing happens. How you win the game. When you complete your nest, and so you have 2 spider silk and 2 twigs, you bring your bird back to your nest and you perform the carting call. The carting call is performed in this way. You select your amount of energy you put secretly in your hand, and all the opponents will do the same. Those are the distracting value, and they put in their hands. You simultaneously reveal, and so for example, you have played 2, the opponents in total have played 4, and now you also gonna roll the carting call die that would add some values. In this case, you have a positive value, so you will add your energy cubes, your beauty, and you will add also the value of the die. So in this case, you have 6 against the 4 of the distracting value of the opponents. This die can give you 0, can also give you negative points. If your carting call value is higher than the distracting value, you immediately win the game. In case of a tie, all the energy cubes are discarded and the game continues until this situation is met. You have a limit of 10 energy cubes at any given time, and you have a maximum of 3 cards that you can hold. Regarding the carting call, in the case of a 2-player game, you also add the opponent beauty value to the other distracting value. And this is how you place Hover. Hover is a game about hummingbirds and how they fight each other for food and also for nest and territory. I learned a lot about hummingbirds. I didn't expect to learn that much about these little birds that actually fly very often around my house. This is, as you see, is a highly tactical, I would say also abstract. The theme is very much inside of this game. You can see in terms of component, how they interact, and also how nasty these birds can be. But essentially, it's a tactical 3 to 4 battle game where you can play action cards on the opponent, where you can tactically move in the appropriate area at the right time when, for example, the flower garden refresh and gather energy cubes. When to get to the feeder, you have 3 energy, or when to attack the opponent at the right time, or go to the opponent's nest at the right time to steal their goodies and make your nest better. This is a game that already from the rules, you know is something that you like it or not. If you enjoy tactical, highly interactive game, this is definitely something that you want to check that out and check the late pledge link you can find in the description in this link, because this is a game that has been just founded, very funding campaign on Kickstarter, and now you have the late pledge open for getting your copy to your door. As a side note, as you can imagine, this game shines with 3 to 4 players. I tell you that I did not enjoy my experience with 2-player game, but it's there. This is definitely a game that you want to play with the maximum player count to have the highest interaction, to have also that kind of fun moment and feel clever when you can scoop the twigs to your opponent, or you can actually pull off the counting call. It's so satisfying when you have enough energy cubes, you roll the die, you are so pretty and so powerful, and you win against the opponent. With all that, I want to again thank EBST Games for providing a review copy, and I want to thank you to made it so far. Please don't forget to like, share with your friends, subscribe. You know the drill. This is not your first YouTube video, am I right? Thank you very much, and see you next time. Ciao!